So we'll just talk a little bit today. What we're going to talk about is the Nexstar service system. And I use the Nexstar service system, about 90% of what we used was the Nexstar service system. And then I made about 10% little tweaks in it over the years. And, tweaks that I just thought improved the service system, and it really added to our customer service level. And so we taught the Nexstar service system just like, it's taught in school in my business. And then, like I say, we added just kind of a couple of things to it. So Jim, you ever ran a call before where maybe you run a no cool call and you got a customer that has you go out there and your technician goes out there and you got a swollen capacitor and he replaces the capacitor, he collects $200 and the customer, he leaves, everything's good, and then 2 weeks later the customer calls back and says, hey, your guy was out here 2 weeks ago, my air wasn't working, I paid him like $200 and now the thing's not cooling again.
Yeah,
you ever get a call like that?
Yeah, yeah, all the time.
Yeah. So then you go back, the technician goes back, you send the same tech back out, he goes back out, and he goes around, checks the unit. When he checks the unit, what he finds is this capacitor that he replaced is fine, but now the contactor's stuck in. So what does the customer want you to do?
They want me to own it. I touched it.
Yeah, they want you to, what do we say, fix it for free?
Yeah, they want me to fix it for free. That's fair.
They want you to fix it for free, yeah. Should we be fixing it for free?
No.
No, we shouldn't be fixing it for free. So the customer, they want us to fix it for free. So I'll tell you, one of the things that I was really big in my business, and one of the things that I really pressed in our business was I pressed a thorough evaluation of the entire system every time. So we wanted our technicians to do a thorough evaluation of the entire system every time. 12 months a year, we want to do a thorough evaluation of the entire system. And we were really big on, that's one of the things that we were really big on. Because I just felt like it was our job to let the customer know where their system stood. I used to call it, for lack of a better term, the state of affairs with your unit. So we just wanted to let you know what the state of affairs with the system was. So we use the Nexstar service system, the prepare step, the greet step, the explore step, the present step, the execute step, the wrap-up step, just like it's taught. So our technician would arrive at the home. I tell you, one of the things we added to the prepare step, we talk about on the prepare step, we talk about, our technicians being ready for their day, being clean cut, having their mind right, well shaved, well groomed. You want to get paid like a professional, you need to look like a professional. You're going to look like a bum, you're going to get paid like a bum. So those were, things that we talked about in our business. And but one of the things that we added to the prepare step was know your history. So it's not, I find that time to time our technicians would, they would go around the side of the house and they would check an air conditioner out, and then, they'd check the air conditioner out, and they get around there and they notice the caps are off the unit, and the customer's standing there by them, and they go, oh yeah, here's your problem. Whoever's worked on the unit last left the caps off. Oh yeah, that was your guys 2 weeks ago. Boom. So we were always big on know your history. Know the history, who was there last, what we did last, what's going on for the customer. Then we used the greet step just like it's taught. We parked in front of the house when we could, when there was no safety concerns. When we could park in front of the house, we parked in front of the house. Our guys, immediately got out of the truck, went to the door, walked on the pathway, carried their shoe covers with them and their business card. We knocked on the door, stood back slightly sideways, introduced ourselves, presented the card, asked was our truck parked okay, made a complimentary statement about the yard or the neighborhood, asked for permission to enter, put our shoe covers on, stated why we were putting our shoe covers on. So all of that was our Nexstar service system to the T. You know, we followed that step to the T. But then we would, of course, listen to the customer after we entered the home. We'd find out, you know, so in this typical scenario, let's just talk about a demand call first. You know, we would listen to the customer, find out what they had going on, maybe ask a few symptom questions. How long has it been doing this? Did it make any sounds or strange smells before it did it, you know? And then we wanted to make sure that we hit our 3 E's. So our 3 E's for building trust were empathy, expertise, and expectations. And we were able to add, you know, basically put this in one statement / question. So we had a question that we wanted to add to the greet step. The only change we made to the greet step is this one question. In this particular question, we tied it to our trust builders. So in the question in the statement / question kind of went like this. Mr. Jim, I know how frustrating it is to have your air conditioning system not working on this hot August day. But, this is what I do for a living every day, so I feel confident I can get this taken care of for you. While I'm here today, I'll just go ahead and do a thorough evaluation of your entire heating and air conditioning system. If I should happen to notice anything that may give you some problems over the next few months, what would you like me to do? And then we would just wait for an answer. Most of the time when you ask that question, customers are going to say, just let me know about it. Some of them will say, just go ahead and fix it. It really doesn't matter what the customer says. Your response should be, rest assured, I won't do any work today without giving you a price in writing up front before I do the work. Is that okay with you?
Excellent.
So this was a question we added to the greet step. And so as we went through that, Mr. Jim, I know how frustrating it is to have your air conditioning system not working on this hot August day. Empathy. This is what I do for a living every day, so I feel confident I can get this taken care of for you. Expertise. While I'm here today, I'll just go ahead and do a thorough evaluation of your entire heating and air conditioning system. Expectations. So we hit all 3 of the E's, the trust builders, in one statement, and then we added that question. If I should happen to notice anything that may give you some problems over the next few months, what would you like me to do? And then zip it. Wait for an answer. Again, I said most customers will say, just let me know about it. When they do, that's great. Just rest assured I won't do any work without giving you a price in writing up front before I do anything. Is that okay with you? Check in. So the reason that we asked this question, and let me tell you why we transformed the process just a little bit here and in the present step. This is the easiest process for the technician to do. The reason that we asked this question, if I should happen to notice anything that may give you some problems over the next few months, what would you like me to do? The reason we asked the question is because you're going to notice things. It's just going to happen. You're going to notice things. In doing a thorough evaluation of the entire system, you're going to notice some things. And we want you to have permission to talk to the customer about it. Let's just say we're up in Kansas City today on a hot August day. And my air conditioning, we run a no-cool call. Technician notices he's running high head pressure. You got any 90% furnaces in basements in Kansas City?
Yeah, we do.
So my technician, he wants to go check the evaporator coil. So he goes down the basement and he notices you got 2 90% flue vents coming out of the top of the furnace. So this makes it real fun to check the evaporator coil, right? So he goes out to the truck, he gets his heat exchanger camera, he says, forget that, I'm not cutting the flue pipes out of the way. He goes out and gets his heat exchanger camera, pulls the blower, runs his heat exchanger camera up through the bottom of the heat exchanger. He's looking at the bottom of the evaporator coil. He notices it's got dirt on it, so he knows, okay, I've got evaporator coil cleaning. And then he's pulling his heat exchanger camera out, and he notices he's got a crack in the heat exchanger. So he comes to you on this hot August day and says, hey, Mr. Jim, looks like you're going to need a new furnace. How does that usually go over?
Yeah, like a fart in church.
Yeah, that doesn't go over very well. So, and the reason it doesn't go over very well is because you don't have permission to talk to me about anything other than what I called you out here for. And the reason I really want to press that question is because you're going to notice some things. And when you notice them, we need to let customers know about them. And that by asking that question, the customer says, just let me know about it. Okay, great, and I'll show you in just a minute in the present step how to let them know about it. So that's our thorough evaluation of the entire system, and then that's in our present step. I will tell you, when I role-played with my technicians, from time to time, they would switch my question a little bit. They would switch one word in my question. And the one word that they would switch is, Mr. Jim, while I'm here today, I'll go ahead and do a thorough evaluation of your entire heating and air conditioning system. If I should find something that may give you some problems over the next few months, what would you like me to do? Did you notice the word I changed?
Yeah, the word find.
Yeah, I said find, and find insinuates what?
You're looking.
You're looking. We're not looking. This is not a witch hunt. We're just doing our job. This process is all about no pressure on the technician and no pressure on the customer. Customer pays you $89 to come out. Just do a thorough evaluation of their entire system. That's what they're paid you for.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're role-playing this, don't use the word find, because that insinuates you're looking. You're not looking. You're just doing your job. And in doing your job, you're going to notice some things. And when you notice some things, you need to let the customer know about it. So moving on, we went ahead and went through the the explore step in the Nexstar service system. We went through the explore step. If you can keep the customer along with you, that's great. You know, if they stay with you, you talk to them about the system, you're still doing your evaluation. If the customer don't want to be with you and they're doing whatever they're doing around the house, just make sure that you perform a couple of check-ins, especially if you're evaluating a couple of different systems. You know, make sure you do some check-ins with a customer when you move from the basement to outside or from the attic to outside to the outdoor unit. And then let's just take now let's get into the present step. So let's just take our service call here in the present step. Well, let's just say we'll use our example, we got a no cool call here. And on our no cool call, what we have found today is that we've got a quarter horse condenser fan motor that's out. So when we're ready to present to the customer, we use a handwritten summary of findings. Sometimes I talk to companies that are using tablets. It's okay to use tablets for certain things, but tablets should not replace a handwritten summary of findings. The tablet is for the company. The summary of findings is for the customer. So make sure that you stick to a handwritten summary of findings. If you don't have one, you can go to the Nexstar website. I would recommend you download one, take it to a local printer, put your logo on it, get it in two-part copy. And that way a customer can keep a copy, and a copy can come back to the office for your inside sales rep. So then we do so we get to the present step. So option A, immediate repair. And we would make this statement, Mr. Jim, this is what you called me out here for today. And let's just say we got a quarter horse condenser fan motor out. So we'd write down option A, immediate repair, replace quarter horse condenser fan motor, $486 or however how much it is, and then we would show our agreement price, like $440 or whatever 10% off was. And then most of the time, the main problem with fan motors is the capacitor can be the main problem, so we would also list under option A the capacitor, and we would list, how much it is and the agreement price, so $186 and then the agreement price. And then the main reason that quarter horse fan motors go out on air conditioners is because the air conditioner is completely stopped up or really dirty. And so we would list the AC cleaning $214 and agreement rate for that, so if they wanted to be an agreement customer. And that would be our option A, immediate repair. Sometimes I had a member ask me the other day, well, what if he wants to do the motor but not the cleaning? We're not breaking up option A. That's what it takes to get it done, get it clean. That's what it takes to do it today. If the customer is really pressing me on that, I might give a 30-day warranty on it, or a tail light warranty. If you can't see my tail lights anymore, it's out of warranty. So that would be our option A, immediate repair. Mr. Jim, this is what you called me out here for today. Option B, system renovation. The system renovation would be, I would simply say, Mr. Jim, you told me to let you know if I notice anything that may give you some problems over the next few months. So let's just use the example I used a while ago. Let's just say we had a cracked heat exchanger. We would list the cracked heat exchanger there. And then we would list the outside of the cracked heat exchanger. Let's just say we had that burnt and pitted contactor. We would list the burnt and pitted contactor there. We would have a dirty blower wheel. We would list the dirty blower wheel below that. Or anything that you notice that may give the customer some problems over the next few months. If they don't have surge protection, we would list that there. Or I can tell you, if we had a 10 to 12-year-old system, there was usually plenty of items to be listed in option B. Now, if the customer doesn't have surge protection, that's a pretty big accessory to us. We felt, we would list that a lot in option B. But at the end of the day, there would probably be sufficient things within a 10 to 12-year-old system to list in option B, without listing accessories, unless you and the customer specifically talked about them. And then option C, system update. We would simply write, it may be time to have a comfort advisor come out and talk about a more efficient system. If you're a selling tech, then we would just simply say, it may be time to talk about a more efficient system. And sometimes I would say it like this, Mr. Jim, I don't know if you want to spend this much money on a 10-year-old system. What we could do is just have a comfort advisor come out and talk to you about a more efficient system. So that was our option C, system update. On our option C, we did not write. On option C, we did not write the word estimate, and we did not write the word quote. We didn't do quotes, and we didn't do estimates. Quotes and estimates is things that people need 3 of. This is my customer. I'm here. We're not writing the word estimate or quote. We're writing it may be time to talk about a more efficient system, or it may be time to have a comfort advisor come out and talk about a more efficient system. So that was our system update. Again, let me go back and tell you why we did this thorough evaluation of the entire system. Why do we do this thorough evaluation? Well, the main reason we did this thorough evaluation, I started doing a thorough evaluation, I don't know, back in probably 2006, maybe 2005, not long after I joined Nexstar. And I started doing a thorough evaluation of the entire system because I had this little old lady call me. And she calls me in January. And she says, Mr. Conway, I got this heating system that comes on and it goes right back off. I said, okay. I said, let me send my tech out there. So I send Scott, our technician, out there. Scott still works in the business today. Scott goes out there. It's an 80% furnace in the attic, takes the top door off of it, fires the furnace up. Well, when he does, the flame rolls out the front of the furnace. So he shuts the furnace off, goes out to his truck, gets a heat exchanger camera, comes back in, checks the heat exchanger, and he's got 2 holes in the back of the heat exchanger about the size of your thumb. So he calls the comfort advisor out. Comfort advisor comes out there. Miss Smith buys a new Train XV95, 95% variable speed furnace, $4,500. Finances it through Wells Fargo. And she's doing good. She got a new furnace. Everything's good. So then she calls me back. She calls me back in April, and she says, hey, Mr. Conway, I want you to know that new furnace that you put in for me is doing really good, but now my air doesn't work. Okay, so we send the technician out there, send Scott back out there. He puts the gauges on the unit. It's got no refrigerant. It's just completely empty. So how's this conversation about to go?
Sideways.
So we put, yeah, not good, sideways, right? So we put, Scott put some refrigerant in it. It's got a leaking evaporator coil. It's got a leaking condenser coil. So we go back in and talk to the customer. Now she's got to spend another $4,500 on an air conditioner and coil. Did we do this lady any justice by not doing a thorough evaluation of her entire system in January?
Doesn't sound like it.
Doesn't sound like it. Yeah. Your job as a service technician is to do a thorough evaluation of the entire system every time. Okay, I know. I see you all in the back of the room with your hands raised up. You can't check an air conditioner in January. You ever see Family Feud when you're growing up?
Yep.
Big X. What did Big X do? Wrong answer. You can't charge an air conditioner in January. But if an air conditioner has no refrigerant, it has no refrigerant. It doesn't matter if it's 28 outside or 88 outside, it has no refrigerant. If an air conditioner has a dirty a dirty condenser coil or a dirty evaporator coil, it doesn't matter if it's 28 or 88, it's still dirty. If it's got a weak capacitor, a burnt and pitted contactor, all those things are present no matter what the temperature is outside. For you folks in Minnesota in the Northeast, I guess if the top of the air conditioner and the top of the snow are level, might be tough to check the air conditioner. But let's don't make the rules for what happens 20% of the time. Do a thorough evaluation of the entire system every time and let the customer make a decision. Just give them the information and let them make decisions. Now let's talk about this call for a second. What if this unit is 3 years old? So now I'm on a 3-year-old maintenance call. System installed. I was, yeah, that was not good. But anyway, okay. So we got this 3-year-old system, and so now we're on the same call. And I want to tell you this process, I want you to be able to use this process on every call. I had, we had 33 service technicians in our business. And with 33 service technicians in our business, we had to be able to use one process. Because if I told my technicians, hey, I want you to do this when the system is 2 years old, but I want you to do this when it's 5, and I want you to do something else when it's 8, and I want you to do something else when it's 12. When we had, when we had that going on, I mean, how do you think the technicians would have done with that if I'd have told them to do something different every time based on the age of the equipment?
They'd have done whatever was easiest.
Oh yeah, yeah. They just would have. It'd have been. I'd have had a mess on my hands because I couldn't, So we didn't tell our technicians to do stuff based on the age of the equipment. We just did the same process every time. Just make it real easy. Just do the same thing every time. System. Really, quite frankly, as a service technician, all I really need to know from you is how much do I collect when I get there. I just need to know, is this a maintenance call and they're paying easy pay so I don't collect anything? Is this a $57 tune-up or is this a demand call? All I really need to know is how much I'm collecting because I'm doing the same thing every call. Mm-hmm. So just do the same thing every time. And so now we've got a 3-year-old maintenance call. So we go out and we meet the customer. We do follow the Nexstar service system just like it's taught. But now we're on this 3-year-old maintenance call. So, Mr. Jim, on a 3-year-old system that you've been maintaining, now this is the 3rd trip out there for 3 years. On a 3-year-old maintenance, what do you think's going to be the immediate repair? What do you think might be wrong with that system?
Well, I'm hoping nothing, John. As a customer, I got a brand new system, right?
Yep. So option A, immediate repair, none. None is an answer.
But you still use A as your first option, right?
Absolutely. Option A, immediate repair, is none.
Exactly.
The reason that I want to use the same process is, one, I want it's easy for my technicians to remember what to do. And then the other thing is, I want the customer to know that 5 years from now when I'm out here and it's now 8 years old, option A, immediate repair, might not always be none.
Right.
But we don't have to always be bearers of bad news. So we don't always have to be giving people bad news.
Mm-hmm.
A customer just spent $10,000, $12,000 with you 3 years ago. They shouldn't be getting any bad news.
Right.
Option A, immediate repair, it's okay for it to be none. Now, let me say this, in your maintenance business, if your cleaning is not part of your agreement, which a lot of companies it's not, and the unit needs to be cleaned, then that could probably be an option A item. So other than that, on a 3-year-old maintenance call, there's probably not going to be anything in option A. Option B, system renovation. So option B, system renovation, that's where I'm going to take a really good look at the system, and I'm going to take a really good look at what enhancements it has. So does it have a float switch, what we call a ceiling saver or a basement saver? Does it have surge protection? How's the air filtration on it? Is there anyone in the home that has allergies or dust problems that we could help them with? Does the home have carbon monoxide detectors? So our option B, system renovation, was simply going to be, our option B, system renovation, was simply going to be our accessories.
Now, you didn't press, I noticed in the beginning we said that we did that when it was an out as well. But generally, we don't go to the accessories when it's an out, or do we?
The only thing on the accessories when it's an out, I kind of use a tool belt with my technicians. So the big tool that I had for my technicians when the unit was over 10 years old was the handoff tool. So what I mean by handoff is they were handing it off to the sales department. So when they got the handoff tool out, and it looked like that was going to be the best thing for the customer, then we would want to, look like that was going to be the best thing for the customer. Then using the handoff tool, we would not really pay as much attention to the accessories, because we didn't want the customer to get, if they were looking at a major repair or a major system replacement, we really didn't want them to get too hung up on the accessories. If they like the accessories and they wanted the accessories, we can add them to their new system. But we really, at this point, need to give them a true picture on what's going on with this system,
right,
without muddying the water too much, if that's the best way for me to put it.
Okay.
So on the 3-year-old system, option B, system renovation, is where we had our accessories. Also, if we noticed anything, from a plumbing standpoint that they might need, it's also a good time to cross-market right there. And then our option C, system update. Okay, so what are you going to do with a system update now, your 3-year-old system? We'd simply write option C, system update. It may be time to talk about a more efficient system, or you may want to have a comfort advisor come out and talk about a more efficient system. And then our technician would simply say, Mr. Jim, your unit's only 3 years old, so it doesn't look like this is going to be the best option for you. And he would scratch out option C with his own pen. Just make one mark through it.
Very good.
And that way we essentially discredited ourselves. And the reason we did it is because it wasn't the best option for the customer. But the reason that we wrote it is we wanted to give the customer 3 options. We wanted the technician to be consistent, to do the same thing. And 8 to 10 years from now, option C, have a comfort advisor come out and talk about a more efficient system, may be what they choose.
Right.
So your customers over the years, they get...
Yeah, the customer sees the same thing over and over, year after year, right?
Yep, year after year. No matter what tech comes to the home, they're seeing the same presentation.
Right. Consistency.
And
beautiful.
It's consistency. It's very consistent and it's very repeatable. So it works if I've got 10 technicians. It works if I have 100 technicians. It's the same process every time. So then we would. So that was our presentation for the present step, and then we would just let the customer make the decision. How would you like to proceed? Yeah. Again, going back to what I said earlier, it doesn't matter what call you're running. You can run the same process every time. So all I really need to know from the dispatcher is how much am I collecting. So let's just say it is September and we're out of our AC cleaning checks, but it's not cool enough to do heating system cleaning checks, and so the office is outbound calling non-agreement customers. Mm-hmm. And they're essentially offering complimentary system checks. Mm-hmm. You just go to the home. Now you've been told don't collect anything when you get there. Just follow this Nexstar service system, do a thorough evaluation of the entire system, give the customer options, let them make a decision. All you really need to know is how much am I collecting. There is no pressure in this system on the customer. You've just told them what the state of affairs is with their system. You've told them the whole story. There's not going to be any surprises 3 months from now. And then they're ready to make a decision. Now let's just say that you do get that call back 2 weeks later. So you've got a no-cool call now. And the guy calls and says, hey, you guys were out here 2 weeks ago. I paid him like $200 to fix this air conditioner, and now it's not cooling again. So you send the same technician back out there, but this time he's got his summary of findings with him. Goes out and checks the unit. He comes back around. Mr. Jim, hey, I got great news. The capacitor I replaced for you is doing fine. No problems at all. You know, the contactor that I had listed here under option B, that burnt and pitted contactor, I know you'd kind of rolled the dice on that and then decided not to do it at the time, but it looks like that's your problem today. It's stuck in. I can go ahead and replace it for you. It's still $232 like it was a couple of weeks ago when I was out. And there's no diagnosis fee since I was here just 2 weeks ago. How would you like to proceed? Okay. So now we're turning that warranty call into a paying call.
Right.
The warranty call that wasn't supposed to be a warranty call anyways.
Right.
Yep. Now, this is an environment, to give you a couple of KPIs, this is an environment where you should be expecting 2 out of every 10 service calls to turn over to your sales department. If your guys will just go do a thorough evaluation of the entire system, this is where 2 out of 10 of your calls should turn over to the sales department. And that, when I say 2 out of 10, I mean 2 out of 10 on all calls. So you took all calls. You know, you got some demand, some maintenance, and that's where 2 out of 10 should turn over. Now, if you're asking the age of the equipment from the CSR when the call comes in, which you should be, then 6 out of 10 that are over 10 years old should be turning over. So if you'll track that, you should be looking for 6 out of 10 if the system is over 10 years old. Mm-hmm. So if you'll track the age of the equipment, that's what you'll get there. And there's some times when you're running a heavy amount of maintenance calls. I'll tell you, in our business, we would run, roughly around, I don't know, 16, 18% turnover rate. And then, we would have times like peak season, May, June, July, August, where we would run 25, 28% turnover rate. We would have times like September and, December and February where we might run 10% turnover rate. And what I mean by turnover rate is that handoff or turnover that's handed off or turned over to the sales department. Now, on these turnovers, let me say this. I hear service managers and technicians tracking a lot of things in the service industry. They're tracking a lot. But normally when I ask service managers, how many of your service calls are producing tech-generated leads? How many of your service calls are turning over to the service department? I have yet to find a service manager that can answer that question. They don't know the answer to that question. I can tell you, service managers, it is the most important stat that you can track in any service department. I ask them how much their average ticket is. They can easily spout off as $340. Why are you so caught up in a $340 average ticket? Why do you know that number and you don't know the number that affects $7,500 average tickets?
Right.
If you're using the coaching and tracking manager, it's on there. Line G, down at the bottom. Line G at the bottom is tech-generated leads. And it'll give you your percentage. Coach and train for 20%. No, there's going to be times of the year that's going to be more than that. There's going to be times of the year it's going to be slightly less than that. But if you'll follow this process, you'll end up with very happy customers. And you'll end up, this process is very simple. It's no pressure. In our business, we had last year we went over 5,000 five-star reviews. So we want to run everything through our filter of honesty, integrity. We don't want to ever tell a customer they need something they don't. But I really believe that for companies that are running around with their technicians running 6, 7, 8, 10 service calls a day in peak season collecting $200 a piece, they are leaving customers with things that need to be addressed. All they're doing is running around putting the Band-Aid option on. And I don't know where you went to school, but where I went to school, 10 calls at $200 a piece was less than 5 calls at $500 a piece. So we want to worry more about the quality of the call than we do about the quantity of the calls. Very good. So, last couple of things to hit on. Again, through our honesty integrity filter, sales done right is something we do for people. Sales done wrong is something you do to people. We don't want to do sales wrong. We want to do it right. So, and this is the right way to do it. Give the customer options. Technicians, the only pressure on the technician is to do a thorough evaluation of the entire system. Pay the price for success, and the price for success is thoroughness. Any questions about that?
John,
Nexstar Service System Present step?
No, John, that was absolutely beautiful. And really, that's really the only thing that's changed. You had some enhancements, in there when you, the EEE, the 3 E's, that's beautiful by using the word notice. That's a natural approach instead of find. I love that. It's really good. I think this is exactly what I wanted to get at. We wanted to get out and have this recorded so we could even give this to our members if we need to show their folks as we go from there. But, this is fantastic, John. What other, if there was anything else, as you're sitting back right now, is there anything that you feel like I wished I'd have said this?
No, I think I've pretty much covered it like I cover it with members each day. If we do this and we're going to send it to members, maybe I'll do a wake-up call the next time I'm in Minneapolis, or I can even re-record it without the smoke alarm in it.
Sure, there you go there. Now, the other question for you here is, I want to make sure I'm certain about this because I think there's some confusion on this. It's A, immediate repair, B, system renovation, or B, system renovation, C, system update, right?
Yep.
It's not option 1, option 2, option 3, it's A, B, or C?
Yeah, I used A, B, or C because I try to take the numbers away from it. We're going to be talking about enough numbers as we move forward anyways. And
Fair
so
enough.
I wanted to take the numbers off of it and used it as this option A, B, or A, B, or C.
Yeah. And was this pre-printed, any of this pre-printed, or is this something that the guys wrote down every time?
Our guys wrote it down every time. I have had some members that have pre-printed it, and I think it works really good either way. The slight thing that can bottle the technician up is if you pre-print it, and let's say he's on a 12-year-old system, and his option B might be 2 pages worth of writing. I mean, if he's, but you've only given him like this 4-inch space. Yep. So that's why we just took the Nexstar summary of findings right off the website and put our logo on it and ran it just like it. That way our guy had plenty of room to write, and he wasn't kind of trying to get something within a certain space.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, so that's how we use that process. But this is really, really easy for the technicians. When I've trained this to, I don't know how many now, but a lot of technicians in the last 6 months, and I've done a lot of calls in the morning time, and the technicians get it, and they get it quick. They get it the first time. Hey, all I got to do is just go do my job. I just go check the system, write it down in this order.
Right.
I just go check the system. I write it down in this order, and then let the customer make a decision.
Okay.
So,
and the warranty, there is no warranty basically on A, except if pushed into, you may give a 30-day warranty.
Right. So option A, immediate repair. You can either have no warranty or a 30-day warranty on that, and then your option B, of course, if they were to renovate the system, and most people don't choose to spend that much money on systems that are this old, but if they were to renovate the whole system, then you might want to be in a position to give, like a 1-year warranty. And then, of course, option C, the more efficient system, will be, whatever warranties. Most of them are 10-year parts warranties, and then whatever labor that you have in your business.
Okay. So you use this on a demand call, you use this on a system check, you use this on a marketed tune-up.
Yes. We use it on every call.
Every call.
Yeah.
So that we don't have, we're not doing it a different way, so our technicians don't have to shift gears depending on the call they're on.
That's right.
Okay.
They can just still do the same thing. And all we're really there to do is tell the customer what's going on with their system. We're giving them, the state of affairs with their system. We used to call it, what was that, get well smart, just the facts, ma'am?
Yeah.
So we just gave them the facts.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on with your system. And that's really what customers want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, the customers want to know what's going on, how much does it take, and, they're not expecting us to put a Band-Aid on it and then them come back 2 weeks later and have to do something else to it. They want it fixed the first time, so just go ahead and give them the options.
All right. So as we stated, this is, we wanted to put this together to be totally, we wanted to give it the trainers and Jack and Scott and everybody involved, Julian and Gresham and all, and maybe even to send this to the coaches as well, as, guys, this is why we do what we do. This is the process for HVAC. And I know there's just a small disconnect. There's a disconnect with what we're coaching and what we're training. And all we're trying to do is make sure that we get both of us saying the same thing, right? And is there any flexibility in changing any of this, seeing how successful you've been with it? You've basically made your tweaks as you've gone, haven't you, John?
Yes, yeah, I've made my tweaks as we went along, and the main tweak, the reason we made option A the immediate repair, is because when we tried to make option A system replacement, a customer threw the wall up they threw the defense mechanism right up. But it's because they thought we were just trying to sell them a new system. Or if they didn't think that, and they may not have thought that, our technician felt that. By you making me give them an option for a new system first, I don't feel good about that. And technicians, they sell what they believe in.
Yeah.
So if they believe in things, that's what they sell.
Yeah. And this is typical Nexstar fashion, what you've just done. I rolled it out to you the other way, the CBA,
right?
Replace, rebuild, repair. And, and this is typical Nexstar fashion. We improve processes as we go. I mean, if you think back of where Nexstar was in '92 to where we're at today, everything has been improved. And you've absolutely improved this process. So
well, thank you for saying that, and we just did that from, we've just tweaked it over the years, and this isn't something, that I just thought up in the last 6 months since I came to work at Nexstar. I mean, this is a process we've been using for, 8 to 10 years now.
Yeah.
And
this is how you went from a $4 million company to a $20 million company.
Exactly. And we ran it, even in last year, of our 20 million, just a little over 16 million of it was HVAC. And of that 16 million that was HVAC, 13 million of it was replacement.
Yeah.
So, we ran a high turnover rate. And again, we did it with 5,000 five-star reviews. So customers loved what we were doing. They an A+ rating with a BBB, an A rating with Angie's List. I mean, so it's all ran through our filter of honesty and integrity, doing business the right way. And I just put it the other way. Don't leave customers underserviced. We didn't want to leave our customers underserviced. We wanted to make sure that we had done our job, and then, these are grown-ups. These are adults. Just let them make decisions. Give them the information, let them make a decision.
Yeah. Excellent. John, I know you've got to run, and I appreciate your time on this. This is really going to help all of us get on the same page.